Thank you to Home Title Lock for sponsoring today's video. You can go to hometitlelock.com/redpoppy, use the code redpoppy, or you can click the link in the description box below. Home Title Lock is the #1 leader in home title protection. Title and mortgage fraud are one of the fastest growing white-collar crimes in America. Anyone who is a homeowner, whether or not you have equity, no equity, free and clear titles, multiple properties, aging parents, or industry professionals, you are at risk for title fraud. All that a thief needs to steal your home is your street address and the name on your title, both of which are public record. Thieves can borrow hundreds of thousands of dollars against your property without leaving the comfort of their home. Protect yourself today with Home Title Lock. You will have 24/7 monitoring of your title with instant alerts if they detect tampering with your title or mortgages. Today's system isn't protecting you from title theft, and homeowners insurance doesn't cover home title theft. Go to hometitlelock.com/redpoppy and use our code redpoppy to try out Home Title Lock risk-free for 30 days.
It's been another beautiful week here at Red Poppy Ranch in spite of the little bit of bad weather that we've had. Cedar and I are continuing to work as hard as we can on getting ahead of the projects before the snow sets in for good. Getting this final post set is one of the last things that I need to get done before I can start the serious framing for the new chicken coop and goat barn. It seems there has to be a giant mess before any of these projects can get done. Whether it's the right way or not, that's how I do things. I'm very good at making messes. Cedar is very good at cleaning up and helping me organize my messes, but it's all still a work in progress. Of course, when I initially set this chicken coop in place, which has now been moved at least 3 times, this chicken coop was originally built in town, which was then used in the backyard of the rental house that we were renting while we were building our place up here. I then moved that chicken coop from town up on the hill behind the house, where that chicken coop stayed for probably close to a year. Then when we finally moved in, we moved the chicken coop down closer to the house where it was more easily accessible.
This is like playing an adult-sized game of pickup sticks. Too bad Heath's not here to play with me because he probably would have lost.
Now, of course, this same chicken coop, which has been moved a half a dozen times, just happens to be about a foot too close to the shop. This means that I can't set the final post that will support the beams, which will support the roof rafters for the new chicken coop / goat barn / hay shed. I took the excavator back to town, and Cedar continued to clean up the mess. So when I got back, I could get the chicken coop moved and finally get the post in the ground.
All right, now that part's all done, now it's time to split it, stack it, and I'll probably bring a lot of it over by the house. This stuff is not very pretty, but it burns really hot. It's really easy for me to cut. It's easy for me to carry. You have to feed it into the fire a little bit more than a big piece of, feed it into the fire a little bit more than a big piece of maple, but I love it because it keeps the house nice and toasty.
So all that I need to do is scoot that chicken coop forward like 2 to 3 feet. I'm hoping that I can hook my truck up to it with some straps and carefully scoot it forward without doing any damage to it. I was able to use my handheld auger and drill down about 4 feet for this final post. What I will end up doing is cutting all of these posts off somewhere around that 8-foot mark, just like the new front porch on the shop. I will set the rafters at the same pitch I did on the shop front porch. So both the front porch and the roof on this side of the shop as well should match each other and look good together. We've had a couple of really cold days, but the daytime highs are still in the mid-40s, and that will keep the ground warm enough that the concrete will set up without any problems before it officially gets so cold that the ground freezes up, which typically happens somewhere between mid-December and the end of the year. If all continues to go well, I should have the horizontal beams set in place on these posts by midweek next week. All right, so now the post is set. So that was the last piece of the puzzle as far as the new goat barn, chicken coop is concerned. So now I'm going to give that a couple of days to set up, and then I can start setting posts and I can start setting rafters on this side as well. After putting the lift on the front end of my truck, I drive down the road with the steering wheel just like this. The drag link on this truck is not adjustable, which keeps the steering wheel straight up and down instead of horizontal the way it's supposed to be. So I ordered an adjustable drag link. I've got a few minutes to kill. I really should be working on other things, but I'm tired of driving my truck like that, so I'm gonna slap this thing on here real quick. This is a Home Depot ratchet, Husky ratchet that's supposed to be heavy duty, but more than anything, I'm supposed to be able to walk right into Home Depot and swap this out if I ever damage this. I might damage it right now. About a week ago, I took my old Dodge truck down to the tire shop and had the alignment done. The guy that did the alignment told me that the tie rods on the drag link were worn out. This was a weak excuse for me to order this adjustable drag link, which basically means I can get the steering wheel lined up properly and also replace a worn out drag link in the process. Slowly but surely, I've been going through and fixing all of the little things that need to be addressed on this old truck to ensure that it's going to stay on the road for a long time to come. The new Mishimoto aluminum radiator just showed up, which should keep the truck nice and cool for a long time to come. Every Simpson rafter hanger that I'm installing on this front porch requires a special joist nail or a rafter nail. They used to be called Tico nails. I don't know why they don't call them that anymore, but it requires a special nail gun. And I went ahead and bit the bullet yesterday and dropped a couple $100 on a Tico nailer, mainly because it's just going to save me a ridiculous amount of time. What would normally be probably a half-day project is going to be turned into about 20 minutes if all goes well. So I just get to deal with this wonderful weather today while I'm working. So. I got a text message from our oldest daughter Cheyenne's boyfriend, and he asked me if he could come and sit down and talk with me. Now, I must be honest, this is the first time I've gotten a text message from one of my daughter's boyfriends that carried the kind of weight that this particular text did. I knew that Cheyenne and her boyfriend Christian were getting pretty serious. And I hoped that he'd give me the chance to give him an earful before he made it official, and they got engaged. Today, Christian and I sat down and had a nice long conversation, and I tried to tell him everything that I thought I should tell him as the father of the girl that he wants to marry. I told him a story where Cedar's stepdad Dave took me for a drive when I was about 21 years old, and he brought a little clarity into my life, and a few months later, Cedar and I were married as well. Cedar's stepdad Dave played a huge part in raising her and her siblings, and I had a tremendous amount of respect for him. So when he took me for a drive and he gave me an earful, saying the things to me that he thought that he needed to say to me before I got engaged to his daughter, I found myself today thinking that it's a little bit interesting that things are where they are here and now. I told this nice young man, Christian, what my job was as Cheyenne's father. I made it very, very clear to Christian that regardless of how old I get, and no matter how long they might be married, I will always play that role as provider and protector for my wife and kids, but especially for my daughters. Okay, we're going to put it up like this. Let me set that right there. Let me grab the Christian sat and listened like a nice, respectful young man, and I couldn't be happier for both Cheyenne and Christian. I don't feel like Cedar and I are old enough to have kids that are ready to be getting married. Cheyenne is basically the same age that Cedar was when she got married. As I sat and talked with Christian, the one thing I continued to say to him over and over again was how important our family is to our situation. Cedar and I made a decision many, many years ago that our family would come first. She would stay home and be a mother because I was certain that nobody was going to love our kids the way that she would. I look forward to the day where I'm chasing one of my kids' around our little homestead here. I made it clear to Christian that I believed all of the blessings in our life are a direct result of putting our family first. I've told the story before, but there was a moment when I was doing a service call that happened to be in a daycare. They had a commercial water heater that was leaking, and I had to walk my way through about 40 kids under the age of about 2 years old to get to the utility closet where the commercial water heater was kept. As I was working on this commercial water heater, I noticed that many of these young kids were simply looking for somebody to hold them. As I was talking to the maintenance man and giving him an estimate on what it would cost to replace this water heater, a little 18-month-old girl grabbed a hold of my pant legs and pulled herself up to me as she was desperately trying to make it clear to me that she just needed to be held. At that time, our oldest daughter, Sage, and this little girl were just about the same age. And without even thinking about it, I bent over and I started to pick that little girl up. About that time, I noticed the look on the maintenance man's face, and I realized I'd crossed some lines. I set that little girl back down as she began to scream and cry, and I walked out that front door of that daycare center. I walked out to my service truck. I wiped the tears from my eyes, and I called my wife. I briefly described the experience that I just had, and I made it very clear to Cedar that I would do every possible thing I could to keep her home as the mother of our children, where she was so desperately needed. Now, 20 plus years later, my second oldest daughter is about to get engaged. Oh, how time flies. On the next upcoming video, we will show the conclusion of the front porch and we will officially get started on setting the rafters for the new chicken coop and the new barn. This is Cheyenne's new beautiful hot rod that she's had for like, how long have you had your car? 4 months? What? What? This is where you ran your boyfriend over when you found out he came and talked to me yesterday?
No.
Huh?
I wouldn't have ran him over for that.
You, not?
No.
Oh, that was my job to run him over.
Yeah.
What happened, Shay Shay?
A cow hit me.
A cow hit you.
It did. It really did. He
You
ran
mean
into the
you
side of me.
hit a cow?
Yeah.
Your beautiful new ride is not so beautiful at the moment.
I know.
Can you tell me a song that the Grateful Dead sings?
I knew you were gonna ask me that. I looked it up on Apple Music, but I forgot.
What are you laughing at? You're next, bro.
Yeah.
I'll run you over too.
I hit him twice. Once in the front and once in the back.
Once in the front, once in the back.
Yeah.
Idaho's a fence-out state, though, so like, you're responsible for that cow now, right?
Technically, yes, but I haven't heard anything from the owners.
Well, maybe we shouldn't talk about that.
Yeah.
Did you see my dent in my truck where I hit the cow?
No.
See, the way I saw it, the driver's side dent needed a companion. So
this is why Christian has a bump on his head?
no, over here. Come look at this one.
Oh. Oh, yeah, that explains it. You did that?
It's possible.
On both sides?
No, the other side was there. This may or may not be a railroad tie. I can't remember.
If you can't remember, that's probably not good.
And this was the good fender too. I'm so bummed about it. Cheyenne, so let's talk about this thing that happened yesterday. I'm still kind of in shock over it.
Oh, I know you are.
I'm in shock that he left in one piece.
Me too.
I didn't have to.
I didn't hear from him for a couple hours. I was starting to get worried.
I didn't have the excavator here, otherwise it would have been really easy to make him disappear. But unfortunately, I just talked to him.
Oh yeah.
And just tried to tell him everything that I guess I thought I needed to know. But I'm showing Cheyenne the dent in my fender from Christian's head.
Yeah.
Is that what the other dent in your car's from?
That's
That's what I said. I said that's where she ran it over.
No.
We're both just sitting here trying to wrap our heads around what just happened yesterday.
The dent or the
The dent happened a week ago.